One of the difficulties with the educational system nowadays is that the world is changing, but not only changing, it's changing at a very rapid pace. That's why we make sure to focus on skills that don't have to do with memorizing knowledge, but developing the autonomy, the resilience, the agility, the well-being, or the capacity to take care of themselves, that no matter the world we live in, it will still be relevant and allow them to succeed.
At Learnlife, we have a curriculum that's relatively minimalistic in terms of what we require of specific knowledge and specific skills. We work with competencies, so general capabilities that are broken down into skills, and the knowledge that supports that depends on the building block or course that the learner is taking.
Meaning that we don't design one specific path that everyone's going to follow. We identify the core, let's say, concepts or skills that they need to develop, but we give enough space for the learner to fill the space with their interests, their passions, and the things they want to know about.
That's what will help them develop a love for learning. That's what will help them build learning to learn skills. And those learning to learn skills are also part of our curriculum. Well-being is part of our curriculum. Impact and change making is part of our curriculum. So we really take a holistic view to the learner.
It has a bit of everything. And once you start figuring out the system for yourself, because the system adapts to you, it has a frame, but you put anything you want to inside that frame. You have to figure out and understand that, and once you've done that, all the possibilities you have is amazing.
The best thing about Learnlife for me is the freedom that you get along with the support that you get. But Learnlife is such a great combination of autonomy and support and care that it makes it's literally the golden middle.
A building block can be, for example, Math for Life, where we're working on budgeting and investment, and learners can have different depth and complexity of projects. Something simple could be mapping the allowance expenses for a month, planning them, budgeting those. A higher, more complex problem could even be a long-term strategic plan that goes all the way until retirement with investments and different funds and so on. And a learner could create that and would have the support to do that within the same building block and with the same support and with the same prompts and with the same initial inputs as someone working on a much more small scale, looking at the percentages of things of their individual budget planning.
And something that you would know as history class, we actually call it human systems, which is geography, politics, and history together. And instead of focusing on memorizing specific facts, what we really focus on is the development of specific skills. These skills can be from understanding the cause and effect of different events in history, different political or governmental structures, and even when we talk about geography, we really focus on how the borders have changed throughout the last centuries and how has this affected the way the world operates today.
And they choose their own projects very often, or choose out of a selection of projects. We design or have them design those projects in ways that someone who is very capable or advanced can go further in their learning and create really epic work, whereas someone who is struggling with the basics can get the support to really understand the competency and develop those skills and feel like they succeeded even if their final project output is not comparable to someone else's, because we try to focus on self-comparison and growth rather than competition.
At Learnlife, we want to prepare the learners for a rapidly changing world. This means empowering them to acquire the skills they'll need, but most importantly, that lifelong passion for learning that we know is going to support them wherever they go next.